You know, time just seems to fly by. Back to school time is at the door. Lots going on, including a possible teacher strike in Alberta. Parental rights in our school system is an ongoing concern as well. Joining us from Lethbridge today to discuss this is Jeff Park. He is the Executive Director of the Alberta Parents Union. Jeff, it's great to have you back with us.
Great to be back. Thanks, Robbie.
So Jeff, you've been with us a number of times, but for those that are just tuning in or don't know who you are, can you just give us a brief overview of what your organization is all about?
Absolutely. We're a grassroots organization of parents from all over Alberta, and we're dedicated to making sure that parents' voices are front and center as we advocate for an excellent education system in public, Catholic, Francophone, separate charter schools, independent schools, and home education.
And so now, like I mentioned in my opening, the Alberta teachers could possibly go on a strike soon. And at the time of today's recording, they are in the middle of negotiations. So hopefully things will work out. But what are teachers concerned about at this time?
Sure. I mean, as always, part of the negotiation is about wages, but they've really been emphasizing, and right now they're sort of at 12% raise over 4 years, one of which would be retroactive. So they'll just get a lump sum pretending they had that raise, and then 3% ongoing from there. And so that's obviously always a negotiation point, and we could see that be what breaks the deadlock. But what they're really emphasizing this time is class sizes, classroom complexity, violence in the classroom. These sorts of issues have been really front and center in their minds and in the negotiations this time, and is probably the main reason why the mediator's recommendation was rejected back in June.
Now, you have a strike-proof Alberta students petition campaign on the way. What is this all about?
Sure. Parents and our kids, the actual students that the education system is supposed to be for, don't have a seat at the table, right? This is a negotiation between the government and the Alberta Teachers Association, the union, and so we want to make sure that the one group, the most vulnerable group, the students who could be most harmed by an extended strike, and who have no opportunity to negotiate to prevent a strike, that those vulnerable students aren't the ones who are harmed. So the strike-proof Alberta students is very simply that if your school is closed due to a teacher strike, you can take the money that the province would be spending on your child to a school that's open. So charter schools, independent schools are not ATA. Well, there's one independent school that's unionized. The rest are non-ATA education institutions, but tutors and online education and maybe a apprenticeship or something like that. Something to make sure that children don't fall behind, that it's in the parents' hands to help children not fall behind in the event of a strike. So yes, that petition is on our website under the Action tab, albertaparentsunion.ca. Under the Action tab, you'll find it, and we have been seeing lots of support for that.
Great. Now, Alberta recently passed a bill that requires parental notification and consent for any changes in a student's preferred name or pronouns at school. Will this be enforced at schools this year? And if so, does this necessarily mean all teachers will follow these guidelines?
Absolutely. So that does come into force starting here on September 2nd, I suppose. I think September 1st legally, but the school starts back September 2nd for most folks. And so that will be enforced. So if anyone has an example of that not being followed, now I believe officially they need to make a plan to share that information with the parents, so that it's not necessarily going to be immediately shared. It's that they're making a plan to share the any name and pronoun change with the parents. But if any parent or community member feels that they're seeing that rule or that law now being violated, they should definitely let us know and let the ministry know, and we'll make sure that that's being enforced.
So now, another controversial topic is or question that I have for you is do parents have the right to have their children opt out of classes or opt their children out of classes that teach on sexual or moral issues that the parents object to?
Sure. Now, it's not as broad as all moral issues. We would like to see a broader set of parental empowerment on these issues, but for sexual orientation, gender identity, and human sexuality content that is being formally taught. So clubs don't count, potentially, depending on how it's done, an all-school assembly or something might not count, but formal teaching of those issues, parents not only need to be informed ahead of time, but now have the opportunity to opt in rather than opt out. And we think that's part of the same suite of law changes, and we think that is an excellent move to put the ball back in the parents' court and to change the incentives for the school to be more forthcoming. Because if you're not quite sure and you have to take the action to opt out, a lot of parents, a lot of Canadian parents are going to be more likely to just, oh, well, I won't make a ruckus. But if we have to opt in, then the incentive is to share any information we might want so that we can know what's going on and maybe more likely to opt in. And if we do see a big change in the rates of kids in these classes, I think that would be some evidence that schools were not being as forthcoming as we would hope there, that they were sort of hiding behind the ambiguity there before. So we'd love to see this open up more open conversation between schools and parents so that and we'd love to see that reflected in pretty much the same number of kids in these classes.
Now, it goes without saying that kids and teachers can get to know each other very well, given the amount of time they spend with each other over the years. But it's also important for parents to get to know the teacher as well, since they are, really educating their child for several hours a day and for the majority of the year. So what should parents do to get to know their teachers and to express to them any concerns that they may have with what is being taught or how it's being taught?
Absolutely. And we do like to emphasize that parents should start with a strong relationship with the teacher, to make every effort to make a human connection and to have that relationship. And importantly, don't immediately go over the teacher's head to a principal or a school board trustee if you have a problem. The order of operations is you try to sort it out with the classroom teacher first, then the principal, and then, by the way, we would say that you do want to go to your school board trustee because that's the person actually accountable to you. There, you can talk to another member of administration if your school board trustee directs you to that person, but if you have a new problem or something like that, make sure to go back to your school board trustee. That's, again, the person that you can fire every 4 years and that is responsible to hear from you. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping them in the loop of issues you're having that aren't getting resolved at the school level.
And this last spring, the province launched a survey asking for public input around the issue of some sexually explicit books that were discovered in some public school libraries available to all students. So this includes elementary kids. So can you share what the results of the survey were?
Sure. So 42% of respondents to the survey said that these materials should never be accessible to any students. Only 14% said they should be accessible to students of all ages, including elementary school. And interestingly, that seems to reflect the same 14% who, for instance, say that parents don't need to know if the schools change a name or pronoun in schools. It seems to pretty consistently be that 14% in a lot of these surveys and a lot of these polling and all that. Unfortunately, it does seem like that 14% is let's say, overrepresented in school boards and school bureaucracies and so forth, and especially overrepresented in the librarian profession, unfortunately. One of the things that was striking to us is how much parents do trust librarian in these surveys. Parents do trust the librarians, but that trust is not returned. When asked if parents should have any role in deciding on library books, librarians came in the lowest in saying that parents should have no role whatsoever in determining library books, whereas parents expressed high levels of support for librarians. So we've got a mismatch of trust there that was very concerning to us.
That is a very interesting dynamic, and parents often express concern about what might be in the curriculum, and this is an age-old debate here, but you point out that much of what is taught in schools is being brought in by individual teachers, principals, or school boards, and this is like separate from what the provincial curriculum introduces. So why is this allowed, and what needs to change?
Sure. I think there's some confusion because a lot of people justifiably use the word curriculum as if it means all the books and all the materials and everything that you would need to teach a particular subject. The Alberta government, and I would say most Canadian provincial governments, use that term in a looser way to describe a loose set of standards, what we expect the outcomes to be, what we expect kids to have learned at certain points in their, well, at the end of each grade is how it's structured. And so it's good that, because, for instance, you want charter schools and independent schools and home educators who are trying to align with the curriculum and so forth. You want them to have the flexibility to nevertheless bring in other things, and so if we're going to require the curriculum across so many diverse education opportunities, then it's good for it to be a looser set of outcomes. But you're definitely right that we've seen a lot of these outside materials that are basically what many people might think of as a curriculum outside the curriculum being brought in to the classroom, and especially it seems like it's especially available and used on the most controversial issues, on issues of gender identity, human sexuality, on issues of climate change and economics and these sorts of issues, and frankly, many times it seems like on issues of U.S. politics that are being brought into Alberta classrooms. So these are the sorts of things that we mentioned in our petition, Tell Us What Kids Are Learning. We did get a partial win on that in the sense that the same suite of laws that we were talking about with the pronouns and the opt-in also required these outside materials to be approved by the Education Ministry, and that looks like we're going to get some good regulation around that on these things being disclosed to parents as well, so that we get, but only, sorry, I should say it's a partial win because only on the sexual orientation, gender identity, human sexuality type issues, not on sort of the broader controversial issues where these sorts of things are coming in. So we're looking forward to seeing those rolled out. Again, that's coming into force this school year, and we hope to see some improvement there, and we'll be speaking up if we see some more things to improve.
Jeff Park is the Executive Director of the Alberta Parents Union. Jeff, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much, Naveen.
I'm Naveen Day on behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News. Thanks for watching.